Okay, today we are playing a game on Dorado. The average SR of this game was 2,464, and we will be playing Mercy the entire way through. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, D.Va, Reaper, Hanzo, Tracer, and Mercy. So we have one healer and 3 DPS, which is not the end of the world because we are playing Mercy, so it's fine. If they have a Pharah, we're going to be pretty upset about that one, and I find the attacking team almost always has a Pharah on Dorado. So, it could be bad. So, let's just start the game now. So, we are here for a while. As you might have noticed, we go a couple rounds on Dorado. It's not actually 27 minutes long, because that's got all the between parts in there. So, Hanzo immediately got picked off, so we immediately res the Hanzo, as you do. Then we start backing up away from the D.Va, but we are kind of backing up into the rest of where the enemy team is going to come from. But fortunately, they don't actually kill us for doing that. Granted, it's kind of like, well, I can stay up there and probably get killed by D.Va, or I can try and float backwards and avoid getting killed by D.Va and probably die to the rest of their team. So it's not exactly a great position, but we got away with it. Fortunately, we didn't die because we were our team's only healer, so it's pretty terrible if we die. So we can see that our team is up to some shit that we don't really want them to be up to, because they're all over by the spawn, basically, right now. Reinhardt's charging in as we speak. At least he pinned their D.Va, so, you know, he did something. Reaper has died. Reaper has died in a location that is too impractical for us to easily get to, as is Hanzo, so we can't really res them, so we just res Reinhardt instead. And we just about managed to limp away from the rest of their team. Our team is standing too far up, which is going to force us to stand too far up. That's just how it goes in this game, unfortunately. And here comes, oh god, so many things. Reinhardt's dead. Actually, Reinhardt didn't die, because Tracer killed herself on her own pulse bomb. So good job, Tracer. And good job, Reinhardt, for just about getting away from it with it. So there was something that sort of stood out to me. Do we do it here? Because no, okay, never mind. There's something that we did around one of these bridges that stood out to me, but it wasn't right here. So, the enemy team is slowly pushing in through the gates. Fortunately, like, most of our team died while they were, like, all the way over there, so they still have some pushing to do. So we decide that we're just gonna use Valkyrie, which is questionable because there isn't really much reason to do so right now, because it's not like we can really benefit from the AoE healing or damage boost, because there's only Reinhardt over here right now. Well, Doomfist, but Doomfist died. We didn't reset our cooldown to res Doomfist because we used it as he died, and our cooldown was going to be up anyway, so this is not the best use of company resources. Oh, we're on the console today, I forgot to mention. It looks like we're on the PS4, so, you know, consider yourself forewarned, like halfway through the video that that's happening. So, we have just used Valkyrie. We really want to get this Reinhardt. Fortunately, GA is really fast when you're in Valkyrie, so we can just get in there and get back out again. Anyway, in your email, you said you thought you played a little too aggressively when fights broke out. That doesn't really stand out to me from this game. Reaper's dead. He's the only one dead, so we just get to res him since we got the lowered cooldown off Valkyrie. See, that's the underappreciated part of Valkyrie as well, is if you res somebody right before your Valkyrie runs out, the cooldown on res doesn't go back up again, so you still get the extra, you still benefit from the cooldown reduction even after Valkyrie is ended, technically. It's okay, they're gonna nerf it soon. And, you know, because God forbid we have any fucking fun playing a support. So, Soldier's using Tac Visor right now, and now that's happening. We want to res this Reinhardt, but we've got time to wait because he only just died, so we got 10 seconds to get to him. We've almost got Valkyrie again. Oh, fuck, Jesus Christ. We're basically boned at this point. Worth noting that standing in this room is usually not very good because of this exact position where you can end up boxed in with nowhere to go. Because now our only option is to try and run out the other doorway, really, but we try and come around this way, we're not going to get out that way. I mean, it's not going to make any difference in this situation because our whole team gets killed, but coming into this room is usually going to end up with you getting boxed in here as a support, because they can see you in here, and then they can just come around the corner like this. Even if things are relatively neutral, you can still get killed being in there. So in this position, you just pull out the gun and start shooting at people because you're gonna die. There's nothing for us to do. It's not even about getting Valkyrie so we can try and use it before the fight ends. It's just that you can get some ult charge off of these people if you do damage, because you don't quite have Valkyrie yet. So if you're gonna die anyway, you might as well get some damage in and try to build up, ult charge while you're dying, because nothing better to do. We're gonna die regardless. So, the enemy team has captured this checkpoint, choke point slightly different. And now our team decide that we're gonna fight, over by the point that we've already lost for a little while. Doomfist died over here. This is not one I would recommend going for, because he died so far in the enemy team, and we have to, like, walk through Roadhog to get to it. And we've already lost this point, so it's not really worth investing the resources into. But then, like, Reaper does it, we end up getting to res Reinhardt anyway, so... In the end, our team decides that we're gonna commit to fighting over the checkpoint that we already kinda lost, so... I wouldn't have recommended it, but it all works out in the end anyway. And now we're gonna res Tracer, because she died overextending. Oh, Reinhardt's dead now. Because he got stuck by Tracer. We can't res him, because we just used our res on Tracer. Happens, you know. If someone's dead, you don't think, well, I might need it in the future. You just res the dude that's dead. So Zarya decides that she's gonna use her ultimate as well. Like, we're getting a lot of kills over here. It's a shame that these kills don't really amount to very much, because we're killing the enemy team outside of their own spawn. Because the closer you kill the enemy team to their own spawn, the less that kill is actually worth. So it seems like here, we thought that we could res Doomfist, but then we got over here and we were like, shit, res isn't actually quite up yet. Which I've done, and then we also end up missing that, because we were in between the two of them when he died. Important to keep track of the cooldown on res. At least I assume that was what happened, because I've done that. I've gone up to somebody and been like, shit, my res is actually down. And then I felt obligated to ult so that no one knew I made the mistake, you know? So, they still don't, like, have a real tank, which is a benefit to us. And Reinhardt's used, Earth Shatter now, and he's gonna charge into the enemy team, which is almost certainly gonna get him killed. And he's died somewhere we cannot possibly dream of getting to unless we want to ult to get to him, which is not worth it, frankly. This is the worst thing with Mercy, when your team decides that they're just gonna go and stand in ridiculous places, and then they get killed, and they're like, why didn't you res me? 'Cause I would have died trying to res you. Or you just died like 12 corners away and I just can't realistically get to you. And they're like, why do you never res me? Because you always die in stupid locations. I don't know what to tell you. Have you considered being less bad at the video game? Maybe then I'd be inclined to res you. But if you were less bad, you wouldn't have died. So it's a catch-22, really. We're filling space right now because the enemy team is regrouping to actually try pushing again. So there was a Hanzo in here. We were really ready to fight him, but he just kind of disappeared, so we didn't have to deal with it. Didn't quite get Reaper before he disappeared into the doorway, so we have to come in here after him. And now our team gets picked off a lot, though their team has a lot of DPS heroes on it, so it's pretty easy to get picked off when everyone on the enemy team can pick your team. So we just decided that we're going to use Valkyrie right now. We could get to these people who died up here, because they died inside that room. So we could, like, poke our face in, try to res McCree, and then get back out again. But we're probably also concerned that these people are going to die down here. There isn't actually that much down here that would have killed them that quickly. So we probably could have resed the McCree and gotten back out in time. But it's all working out anyway. Gonna res the Reaper. We just barely got him before Valkyrie ran out, so we still have the reduced cooldown on res. Which means we're gonna get to res this Reinhardt right here. So it's a good thing that this is a Mercy game that's really long, right? Because there's not as much to say about Mercy as there would be for some other heroes. Oh, lots of ultimates happening over there. Reinhardt's going to go in and charge in and start swinging, but unfortunately Transcendence means he's not going to be having any fun today. For the most part, like, we are generally standing, like, really far up, but our team is also always standing really far up, which puts us in an unfortunate position as Mercy, where... yeah, because our team is bad, that's going to force us to be a little bad. So, we res him, just about get Valkyrie to use right here. Just about get away from that. Everything just barely works out right there. This one I wouldn't go for, because you have to put yourself right next to a lot of people that are very scary. And yeah, it's hard to get killed in Valkyrie as Mercy, but flying through the enemy team in a confined location is one of the better ways to get yourself killed. We also are hanging out like pretty close to ground level while we're using Valkyrie. You can be really fucking far away and heal people because the beam tether extends tremendously when you're in Valkyrie. So we should generally be hanging out higher in the sky when we're using Valkyrie because there's really no reason not to. The higher up you are, generally the harder you're going to be to kill. Because, well, some heroes just can't even try. Can you believe that they actually pushed this to the checkpoint from the position that they've been in at the start of this fight? That one's also not one I'd go for, because you have to go into the entire enemy team for this res, and we end up getting killed as we're trying to get back out again, because Roadhog uses Whole Hog. It's true, it's always been true about a support, you don't want to put yourself in unnecessary risk to try and fix somebody else's mistakes. If you're gonna get killed, if there's like a good risk of you getting killed going into res somebody, just let that dude be dead. Like, it's not worth you dying as well, because, especially not when you're the only healer on your team. I think we're still the only healer on our team. Yeah, we must be, I haven't seen another one. When you're the only healer on your team, you really don't want to die. You're also, frankly, more important than anybody else on your team as the support. Isn't the tank more important? No, because what's the tank gonna do when the support's dead? He's gonna get fucking killed because he's got no one healing him. So, they got that checkpoint. They don't have that much time left because they don't get like a super long extension. That's a really risky one to go for, but we did have the anchor point of Reinhardt to immediately dash back up to again. And then, through just like juking around with GA, we survive a lot longer than we have any right to do. Can you believe we got away with that? Now we get to use Valkyrie because we've lived just long enough to actually use it. Oh god, self-destruct. So this is the one thing about being really high in the sky, is sometimes you get caught in locations where you can't really get away from self-destruct, but also if you're high in the sky, you're usually out of the range of self-destruct as well. So they end up getting this checkpoint. Even though they don't actually have that much time left, we were staggered enough that they managed to get away with it anyway. And now we're in the Graviton. There's nothing we can do about that. I see Mercy players do this a lot, where they're in the Graviton and they use Valkyrie. Don't do that. Because you can't get out, and the regen from your passive in Valkyrie is probably not going to be enough to get you out of Graviton. I see Mercy players do that all the time. You're just going to end up dying with Valkyrie, trust me. Doesn't come up in this game, at least not that I recall, but like, I see Mercy players do that a lot. Don't do that. So, now we are attacking on Dorado, which is significantly harder than defending Dorado because, well, don't we all just love trying to push through the first checkpoint? Especially as a support hero where you have generally less impact over the overall flow of the game. So, Genji's dead. We can get to this Genji with relative safety. Roadhog pops out right as we do so, which is quite scary, but he didn't actually hook us and kill us, so great, awesome. The pick that happened on Genji because Genji was bad, nope, didn't happen anymore, just undo that real quick. So the enemy team is also standing where they shouldn't be standing, but Reinhardt's now on the moon. Just like, goes straight up for some reason right at the end, doesn't he? Like, just do it, just watch it one more time. Ooh. It doesn't even make any sense. He only hooked forward, but then he just went straight up instead. So, our res isn't up for that one. D.Va dives on us and just unloads the missile barrage into our face. I think we had Discord Orb on us as well. No, we didn't. We just got fucked. Fair enough. Happens. Is known to happen to a Mercy player. Most of our team was dead, so it's not like there was much for us to do. As we can see, everybody is dying fucking thousands of miles away from us right now, where we can't actually realistically get to them to heal them, or res them rather, which is, you know, healing them effectively. Happens. Dorado's, we've gotten hung up on the tree, which is really awkward. Dorado, it's really easy for your teammates to die in inconvenient locations as well, because, like, think about all the rooms they can go into. They can be over here in this room, and that's hard to get to. They can be up here, they can be in this room, they can be back there, they can just be behind the checkpoint in general. There's a lot of places on Dorado for your team to make it inconvenient for you to get to as Mercy. And then they're like, why don't you ever res me? Because you're fucking bad. I'm sorry to tell you this. It's the truth. So, because the enemy team has been standing where they shouldn't be standing still this entire time, we managed to get some traction. We've almost got Valkyrie built up. Here comes self-destruct, just hide out of the room, in the room out of the way, as you do. There is this thing I notice we do where we kinda GA towards people that we're healing when there's kinda no reason to do so. When we're just kinda standing in like a neutral position, sometimes we just like GA forward for the sake of it when there's no reason to do so. You can heal from like far away. You generally want to be as far away from people as possible, so just like don't randomly GA towards people while you're healing them, because then, well, there's a good possibility you'll GA right as something bad happens, and you could just be standing back, like there's no reason to do so. Something that probably only ever matters like 10% of the time, but eventually that 10% starts to matter a lot more. So, we res one person and then just use Valkyrie. We're starting to make some headway in the fight, so just like the power spike from using Valkyrie can often be enough, even if you don't benefit from the reset on Rez's cooldown. Which is a thing that I find people fall into with the new Mercy, where they're afraid to use Valkyrie, because they're thinking to themselves, oh, what if I need to get the reset on Rez in a second? Valkyrie by itself is really fucking strong. You don't always, we end up, like, GAing into this, and then, like, can't get back out quickly enough before we get really killed, so, like, play more back, basically, is the advice there. Which, I mean, playing Mercy, you generally want the enemy team to see you as little as possible. Anyway, Valkyrie is strong enough by itself that you don't always need to get the reset off Rez's cooldown. That's about to get nerfed anyway, because I have no doubt that change is going to go to live. But, like, Valkyrie is strong. It's not about, like, getting, the dream 4 reses in over the duration of Valkyrie. It's just like, if you use Valkyrie, chances are no one fucking dies, because just having a Mercy tethered to your entire team is really fucking strong. And the Mercy's in the sky, basically can't die for 20 seconds unless, like, the enemy team gets to trade an ultimate for you, which happens. Sometimes the McCree you're gonna be in a position where the McCree high noons you to just kill you, which is definitely worth it for the McCree. If you're playing, like, McCree or Soldier, even, and you can use your ultimate just to kill Mercy and Valkyrie, it is 100% worth it. Especially if you're McCree, because high noon is like, it's like a 7 out of 10 ultimate, right? Valkyrie is a 10 out of 10 ultimate. It is definitely worth the trade. And even, like, Tac Visor is like a 9 out of 10 ultimate. It's still a worthwhile trade just for the Mercy, because Valkyrie is like a 10 out of 10 ultimate. And sometimes you're gonna get killed by that, and it's gonna feel really bad. So, Reinhardt's dead, but that's okay, because we're playing Mercy, we can just res him. And that's... Tracer trades her ultimate to kill somebody. Nope, we just push E. All done. All undone. I've complained about that one regularly. So we ult here to get the reset on res to res Junkrat back up, which is fair enough. Because we are gaining momentum in this fight, so just resing Junkrat was probably enough. But then we also get to res the Tracer as well, and then, ooh, massive tempo gained off of one ult use. Incredible. Now we're really high up in the sky. We do, like, sit, like, really far back. We should be, like, hovering kind of, like, above this area so that we can actually be, like, tethered to a bunch of people still at the same time. There's a fucking fly in here, and it's determined to get itself in my coffee. So, Genji has died, like, in the worst possible place, because it's the kind of place where you can almost res him, but you can't quite, because his soul is out of range to actually GA to, which is sad. But it's alright, their whole team's fucking dead right now, including both their healers, so there's not much they can do about it. So, you know, we're gonna... I've already spoiled how this game goes, because I said we're gonna be here for a few rounds. We get to the end, which will probably not come as any great surprise, considering, well... They kind of haven't stopped us since we actually got through the archway. So, their Mercy has just used Valkyrie. She's flying above us somewhere right now, I think. I'm pretty sure I saw her swing past us. Yep, there goes Mercy. She's above us right now for, some reason. This is it occurs to me that I haven't been thinking to look for this until this very moment. We're healing people at full HP, which is really bad, because if you're healing somebody at full HP, that's the same as your beam being turned off. So, as soon as you're not healing somebody, you want to be damage amping them, because it's hard to carry as a support. It's about being... Playing a support is often about being as efficient with your resources as possible, so you want to minimize empty healing as much as possible. Because it's the same as you having no beam at all. Like, right now we're healing somebody at full HP. It occurs to me I haven't been looking for that over this entire game. Just broadly speaking, if we're healing somebody at full HP, that's bad. We should be damage boosting them instead. Qualifying statement, unless we know with absolute certainty that they're about to take a big chunk of damage. These people, probably not, so we should have been damage boosting them. Given how much we've been doing it these last few seconds, we've probably been doing that quite a bit over the course of this game, and it's just slipped my mind until I noticed it right then. So we are currently being run down by the enemy team. This is the position where you just pull your gun out and start shooting, because you're really close to having Valkyrie, and if you get Valkyrie right here, these people don't kill you. Don't be afraid to pull out the pistol and start fighting people. I think, in general, Mercy players would benefit from being more ready to pull out their gun and fight people that are trying to kill them. Because you can't always rely on your team, but you can rely on yourself. So you pull out the gun and you start shooting them. We are again healing these people at full HP. Like, we must have been doing this over the course of this game. So, there are people low HP. I would have considered Valkyrieing as soon as I arrived, just because a bunch of people were low HP. To try and stop them from dying at all, but then you can argue, well, even if they do die, it doesn't matter because I have Valkyrie, so... You know, there's two sides to every argument. This part I do remember, because we go over here for this Genji, and that's a pretty scary maneuver. I would have probably ulted right there, just to res the Genji, because we're winning this fight right now, and... Res is 15 seconds away. I would just ult to res the Genji right there, because we're probably going to win this fight. We do so anyway. I would have just done it, especially after, like, ending up on the other side of the wall after Genji died. I would have just ulted right there to res him immediately. Like, well, just going to res him right now, because we're probably going to win the fight if we res him now. There, Genji tried to use Dragon Blade, but he got fucking owned right as he did it. Whole team suddenly blasted away really far, very sad. I would probably pull out the pistol and start shooting at that Roadhog. I'm not gonna say that that's the correct play, but like, I just look at this position, and I'm like, man, how could I resist pulling out the pistol right now and shooting into Roadhog's big juicy skull right there? Especially since most of our team just got blasted over the fucking wall, so they have to come back anyway. Also, just again, we're kind of hovering like really close to people still. Like, we can be way far up right now, and we get, like, real close to these people. Generally, the higher up you are, the harder you're going to be to kill. So, here comes the Pulse Bomb. It kills Reinhardt. It's okay, our res is up right now. Like, this Tracer, I pull out my pistol and start shooting right here. There's nobody right next to us that needs healing, because Roadhog's healing himself, and we just res Reinhardt. I just pull out the pistol and try to kill that Tracer, because she's behind us, she's annoying, I don't want her to be there, I want her gone. And the rest of our team is clearly not going to be interested in helping us with that one. Because we're fighting over here right now. It's okay, it doesn't matter, we end up capturing the point anyway. Hooray, hooray. So, now we are in Dorado, where both teams only have a little over a minute to go. Looks like we were thinking about playing Symmetra. They only have a minute, in fact. We've got 37 entire seconds over them, so, ho-ho, easy money, boys. So, team standing where we don't really want them to be standing, you know, whatever, it's going to happen, what can you do? If your team's going to be bad, there's not very much you can do to stop that, and your team is quite often going to be bad. I say that as someone who is quite frequently bad. Don't worry, it happens to everyone. So we can't quite see Junkrat. Oh, we just barely get to see Junkrat. Oh, really scary hallway, because he's clearly fighting somebody on both sides of him right there, so we just edge the windowsill and don't end up having to actually go into the danger zone. Danger zone? This is not one I would recommend, because we'd come over here to try and help this Reaper. We know Reaper's fighting a Mei. I would not come over here at all, because the risk of getting killed by a Mei is quite high if you're close to her. Reaper's also died over there. We definitely don't want to try and res that man because there's a huge chance we get killed for that. We go in for this Reinhardt. Even resing this Reinhardt is kind of spooky. You know, maybe we get away with it because our team is nearby. We don't get away with it. I probably wouldn't have gone... no, I would have gone for the Reinhardt. I don't think going for the Reinhardt was really the correct play because the chances of you dying is so high for doing it. But I also know in my heart that I would have tried to go for the Reinhardt as well, because I would have been like, well, if we've lost one of our other heroes and we lose Reinhardt right now, we probably lose the point, so I'm gonna try... I would have probably done it as well, though I don't think it was actually the correct decision to try and go for it. So we do manage to get back in time. They're already in overtime, so they can't leave the point. We've almost got Valkyrie. If I recall correctly, we just use it. No, we don't just use it. Okay. Reinhardt's been walled off. Well, not much we can do about that one. Oh, he's still alive. He's still alive. Oh, Winston's on our face, but he just kind of gives up because he's afraid of losing. Now we just decide that we're going to use Valkyrie. We end up... Unfortunately, we get, like, walled off right as that happens. It's a good thing we used Valkyrie, because we just got fucking cut by Genji with Dragon Blade. We were already, like, accidentally dodging it, because we were just in the sky. Try and res that man. Try and res that man before Valkyrie runs out, so that you can still benefit from the cooldown reduction. Because we do res him, but, we've resed him after Valkyrie ended, so now it's the 30-second cooldown. If you're gonna res somebody... if you got the opportunity to res someone before Valkyrie ends, try to get the res so that you can still have the cooldown reduction after Valkyrie ends. Ooh, scary, because Reinhardt just barely scooted past that one. So they're still pushing, See if we have the reduced cooldown on res, Tracer could be alive right now. Which could definitely be the thing that makes the difference. So they have a Mei, which is generally very inconvenient, of course. Oh, God, they died so far away. We can't get to them. It's okay. They totally C9 it, so we get to win the round. We don't really win the round, but we win the round. In the spirit, you know, because they didn't get the first checkpoint, so in spirit we still win the round regardless. So we're almost there. We're almost at the end of the Valkyrie, what am I talking about? Valkyrie does last a really long time. We're almost at the end of the forever game. Stake your bets now. Do you think we get through the archway, or do you think we grind at the archway for a minute and a half? Cause, you know, I admit, when I watched this replay through, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get through the archway, because I've played so many games where I've been like, we've got it, and then we don't get through the archway, even though we pushed all the way to the end with like a minute and a half left, and then we're just like, nope, didn't get through the archway. Alright, feels bad. So they have a Symmetra now, so, you know, it could definitely be spooky for us, because we don't have a Winston to kill that. Fortunately, they've already lost two members of their team. They've lost their Lucio, and they've lost their Reaper, so things are going good already for us. If you can get some picks right at the start for the archway, it's usually really easy to get through the archway, because, well, fighting with a numbers disadvantage is really hard. This is some fucking, like, mecha anime shit happening right here. Like, look at this shit, Jesus Christ. Isn't it, what, is she using the Mecha Far skin as well? Can't really tell. That'd be pretty sick if she was, though. Because, Jesus Christ, that's some anime shit right there. So, we actually have a Far now, which is pretty cool as well. So, Symmetra has died. That's very important news, because there's no way she has managed to build up a teleporter yet. So, she didn't get to place it down, which means it's a lot easier for us. If you can kill the Symmetra before she gets the teleporter down, it's usually not actually that hard to get through the checkpoint, because, you know, we've all been on that team where the Symmetra dies really soon. I wouldn't do this. Yeah, half your team's over here, but you gotta put yourself in such a spooky place to do this. It's okay, we managed to get away with it. I wouldn't have gone in there, because the risk of dying is quite high, actually, since most of their team is there. So their Mei is using her ultimate right now. That's okay, we aren't caught in it, so no problem. Reinhardt is, but we're playing Mercy, and we haven't had to res anyone yet, so we can just res him. And now we're just going to use Valkyrie. Yep, just, like, use it, because we're winning this fight really solidly right now, so we might as well just use the power spike off of Valkyrie to make sure we win the fight. And we win the round. Woo, and it wasn't that close, because the enemy team had a bunch of people that just got picked off for free right at the start. Incredible. I like how there's a bunch of, victory poses in the game now. It's just like, yeah, we just have Reaper's head on the Halloween skin from last year. We just have his head incorporated somehow now. I guess that's just our thing. Alright, so we missed like half the play. I think we know roughly what happened with that one. 41% of team damage taken. That's what happens when you're the only healer on the team for the entire game. And then, sadly, the only thing they actually managed to get was Transcendence healing. How sad. Look at that, we were 2 entire Zenyatta's worth of healing. Incredible. So, the thing... Nothing super stands out in this game. You were saying in the email that you think you play too aggressively when fights break out. I don't think that's really the case. To me, it seems more like you sometimes overreach trying to help people when it's like too dangerous for you to really try and help that person. You're more important than that dude. Don't like put yourself in mortal peril to try and rescue him, because you are more important than him. Because there's a few times we like go in to res somebody that we probably should not be trying to res, or we go in to try and heal somebody that we shouldn't really be trying to heal. Try to avoid healing people who are at full HP, because that's the same as just you having your beam turned off. And don't like just like randomly GA to the people that you're hiring, because I saw that a few times in the video where you like just GA cancel up to somebody when there's no reason to do so. Just like sit back and heal the dude. There's no reason, and you can end up GAing into trouble. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.